Hey, since January 2025, I've been recommending Lovable as the best no-code solution for building real full-stack apps. But I have also emphasized one thing. While working with Lovable doesn't require coding, it does require basic technical knowledge. Recently, someone in our community recommended Base44. I was skeptical, but I decided to test it. Base44 turned out to be the simplest all-in-one solution for those who want to build prototypes, full-stack apps, or even minimal products. I will demonstrate building a RAG chatbot with Base44. By the way, I'm Pavel's digital avatar, but the demonstration was recorded by Pavel. Let's dive in. Okay, I hope this will be a quick demo. I would like to demonstrate how you can use Base44 to create full-stack apps or prototypes or MVPs even easier and faster than in Lovable. And for that, I will create a simple chat that uses a RAG assistant defined in OpenAI. I will explain different things during the presentation, but first let's start with the assistant. So assistant, it's like a custom GPT, but defined in OpenAI Platform so that you can access it programmatically from other apps. I have included very simple instructions. So this is a product management expert. It always needs to search files before providing the response. And I can add my files, so my data source to retrieve just by dragging and dropping files, for example, from my local desktop. There are also other options. I will leave the default configuration settings. And yeah, our assistant is ready. We have the ID here, and we will use this ID in Base44 prompts. Good. The next step is to go to Base44 and describe what we want to build. And I would like to build a simple chat app that calls OpenAI Assistant. Okay, the layout is simple. Use cases. User needs to sign in, sign up with Google. After signing in, they can start a new chat, browse, continue previous threads, or sign out. And for now, it's all. I will only include the default styling instructions. So this glass morphism thing is popular recently, so let's use it. It automatically added the styling instructions. I only will add that I like pink shades. Okay. And right now it is creating a new app. What is important here is that Base44 will not ask you about any database settings, database connection strings, because it hides all this complexity related to database like Supabase behind the friendly user interface. And even though Lovable is user-friendly, it requires you to understand different components, what row level security is, sometimes look in the database to understand the tables, understand the relationships. You don't have any of this in Base44. And the Base44 also provides built-in Google and email authentication. So you do not have to create any Clerk account. You do not have to configure anything in Google Cloud Console. It just works by default. And also they have ready-to-use integrations like integration with OpenAI. I need to use my custom OpenAI key, but if I wanted to rely on the generic LLMs, I could use just Base44. There is something like integration messages, credits, and without paying anything extra to OpenAI. Okay, I have my friendly assistant. Let's test it just to make sure that this basic functionality works. So the new chat is hello. Just to test it. Yeah. Hi there, how I can assist you today? It's not ideal. When I pressed new chat, it didn't use my first message as the first message instead of asking, it opened a new panel. Yeah, I guess it's okay. We could fix it a little bit, but overall, that's okay. The next thing I want to do is to, instead of relying on this general OpenAI integration, I want to call my own assistant. So to do that, I will go to the workspace, settings, app settings, and before we call OpenAI with our custom key, we want to do it securely. So it means that we cannot store this key in the front end. This must be an app secret, and this app secret can be only accessed on the backend. It sounds complex, but it's simple in practice. All you need to remember is to enable backend functions, and then ask Base44 to use your custom OpenAI key and call that integration securely inside this function. And I have already prompt, so move OpenAI call to the backend and use my custom API key, OpenAI API key, when calling my assistant. Okay. Ensure we strictly follow OpenAI version 2 Assistant's API. And this is information I found on OpenAI page, and this seems like a new thing. So some apps, Lovable and Base44 included, sometimes struggle with it. So I just created a prompt to guide the model rather than fixing the errors later. We want to use the new API, and we want to include this special header in our requests. Okay, it asked me about my OpenAI API key, so we are replacing the built-in integration with our custom key. I will remove it later. You will see part of this key. I will remove this key before publishing this video. And here I can save my secret so that users accessing this app will not see it. Everything happens in the backend. And right now it is creating a secure function that will access this secret on the backend. And again, in case you use Lovable and you use and I really like Lovable, in case you execute edge functions, those edge functions are executed in Supabase, which is like backend as a service. But here, edge functions are executed by Base44. So this is the custom implementation. They do it securely. And again, you will not see any of the settings. Of course, you can see, because we have access to the source code, you will see the source code, but you cannot manage those functions when they are deployed. Everything is hidden, everything is simplified. So all you need to remember is to, when creating an integration, use integration keys and execute the integration logic securely on the backend. So that's the only way that the user cannot modify the logic and cannot access your secrets. Let's test it. I will ask, okay, the loading chat. What is North Star metric? It is typing, so that's a good sign. If it crashes, it crashes immediately when it comes to OpenAI integrations. Let's hope we'll see the result in a moment. Okay, we got the response, and it quoted some source, so it means that it actually can access RAG. Vector store, because RAG is about retrieval and generation, so it's the entire process. but it doesn't make sense to quote those sources. Those are internal files. So I will ask to remove anything between like source, include those elements. We don't need them. The user cannot access those files either way. And assume OpenAI responses are simple markdown response text is simple markdown format it properly. See the attachment. And here I will include the screenshot, so just so the model can understand the problem. Okay, 2 issues to fix. Okay. It understood that this is about removing citation. That's good. And the second thing is markdown. Let's see if it will do that. Of course, you can refine small details like ask to remove the thread ID or assistant ID so that it is not visible for the user, but I do not want to spend time on it right now. This is not about polishing the UI, but demonstrating what you can easily do, and you can refine those tiny details later. If that works, I will go to permissions and demonstrate Google Authentication. So let's hope it will work this time. Okay, let's start a new chat. Again, I will ask what is secure. Okay, there is some error. I'm not sure why. So we need to fix the problem. Okay. Maybe once again. Perhaps the app was during the refresh, the changes were being deployed, so that's why we got this error. Now it is thinking, and okay, we have the objective, so we have formatting, we have bold text, we could precise some details like bullet points, but I will not spend time on that. Okay, so we have our RAG chatbot that connects to OpenAI, uses our custom assistant that can access files, performs retrieval and generation. So this is a RAG chatbot with custom user interface. How we can authenticate, how we can secure this app. All we need to do is to go to security, and here we have 2 types of entities that are stored in the database: chat threads and chat messages. And all I need to do, all I want from this app is that users can see their chats and their messages, but cannot see chats and messages created by other users. To do that, I can just create access rules visually, and for the read, it will be that only creator can read information, save. And similarly for chat messages, only creator can access those messages. Save security rules. That's it. Let's make sure that where it is that we have probably in the settings that we have Google Authentication enabled. It is enabled by default, but we also have this email password authentication. That's fine. Let's publish our app and test it. Of course, we have not defined fields like created by, updated by, ID, and so on, because every entity, whether you show this information or not, every element in Base44 already has that information, so you can use that when defining different policies. I will use Google Authentication, and I will log in as the first user. So this is this Pavel Hurin at gmail.com. I have no chat, so let's start a new one. How are you? Whatever, just to demonstrate that I have this chat message here. And I hope that we will get a response. If not, what is North Star? It's a good sign. It didn't crash immediately. But let's wait a little bit. Oh, we actually got the response, so it seems that those changes, that good changes, have been propagated. I will stop. I will revert changes. We don't want to change anything. Okay, and just to demonstrate that a different user will not see my messages, so when I sign in as pavelhuren@gmail.com, I can access my messages, my threads. When I sign out, we can adjust this UI. If I sign in as a different user, I will see messages that I'm using in this preview window, because here I'm also signing as, by default, as Pavel at Product Compass PM. So the same messages, the same threads. And when I sign out and sign in again with my first Gmail account, as you see, we have this context that is unique to the user. Okay, so just to wrap it up, we have used Base44 to create a full stack application. This full stack application has a database, and I can see the data here. It's not very complex, but we have a chat threads and chat messages inside those threads. The data is secured with those security rules. So, for example, only creator can read and update and delete items. We can also define more complex rules and different rules for reading and writing. But basically, everything can be defined here. We can also define rules that depend on some fields inside the object. So, for example, if there was a field with, it was a leave request and there was a manager as one of the fields, then we could assign permissions to that manager so that they can edit or approve the form, like a typical workflow inside organizations. We have access to the code. We can edit this code, and what is nice here is that, unlike in many other environments, you have autocomplete here, and the editor is suggesting changes if you really need to code for some reason. You can also export this to GitHub. The export is one way, and exported code uses Base44 libraries. So even though you can export it, if you want to completely get rid of Base44, you would have to edit it yourself. It's not the case with Lovable, when you export the project in Lovable, so first you don't export it, you sync it to directionally, and you can use different tools together with Lovable to edit your project. Another thing is that when working with Base44, you cannot control moving the apps between environments. So there is a database. You cannot branch this database. You cannot branch the code. You can copy the entire code base with database, but this is not a good way to move data between environments. So in my opinion, Base44 is a good solution if you want to create some simple apps for internal use. Then perhaps you do not need to worry about branches so much. The data is you can export the data, so that's the only option, or you can use the API to export it and import the data from those options. The code is versioned automatically, though it doesn't happen in GitHub unless you export and update your GitHub repository regularly. But you have access to the version history here. You can just select the version and restore one of those versions. An interesting thing also are visual edits. You might know from Lovable, so we can select an element and adjust the styles like classes, adjust spacing, adjust background color, though you cannot edit content that way. And so you cannot change texts. For texts, you either need to open the code or just ask the editor, ask the model to change specific texts. And yeah, what else? You can add a custom domain. You can buy a domain or get instructions how to connect your own, basically configure DNS records. And you have a built-in API. That's also a nice thing, so that you can call different operations, like, for example, creating chats, retrieving chat messages programmatically. And if you create an app like maybe a different type of the application, like, for example, certificates management, then you could basically perform the same operations that you perform in the user interface, like reading records or creating new records programmatically, and, for example, connect Zapier or connect NAN workflow so that it is easy to integrate that with other systems. Good for prototyping, good for quick demonstrations, good for limited internal applications, and perhaps good for MVPs, where you do not need to worry so much about, before you get the first customers, you don't need to worry a lot about how I will upgrade those customers, what I should do if I have 1 million people on production. It's a good problem to have. Although if we really seriously think about creating a product that you can easily switch to another editor and you can better manage the application lifecycle, I would rather focus on Lovable. But for people who perhaps don't have the tech background and want to maximally simplify everything related to creating those simple solutions, and also can leverage the built-in integrations, for example, with OpenAI, that can be a good solution. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks.